Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beautifully Bruised and the CPS show. I am so glad that you tuned in today because once again, we do have a very special guest that is returning to come and share some new information regarding his story. I must say that when I first heard this story, it just blew me out the water. I had never heard of anyone ever having a being affiliated with nearly 100 cases,
Yeah,
and not only that, but the cases, nothing has been done as far as any changes due to so many observations. And again, thankfully we have Mrs. Charles Leiter that's
ma'am.
here.
Yeah,
Welcome again,
thank you.
Charles. And we just want to, give you a chance, an opportunity, and a platform to share your story. Because, so many times you go through so many adversities, trials, and tribulations and challenges. And sometimes you just need a chance to vent. You need someone just to hear your side of the story. And to me, it helps to bring balance within your own mind. I guess that's why it's so important to have therapy, because it allows you to share what's inside that mind of yours and be able to release a lot of that information and things that your challenges or obstacles that you may be going through. So before we get any further, I must say that I have to thank God, my Lord and Savior, the one that keeps me, that protects me, that speaks to me, that covers me, that gives me the strength to keep going.
That's
Even
right.
some days, we all go have our own, challenges, our own personal challenges, but I assure you that I am a living witness that God is faithful and
Yeah,
there is nothing that he cannot get you out of. And sometimes I think he allows us to go through certain trials and tests just so we can be a testimony to others. So without any
yeah.
further ado, I would like to definitely welcome Mr. Charles Leiter. And Charles, I would like for you, since you are a returning guest, to be able to share with our listening audience in reference to what occurred with the first show, and just to help reiterate that, can you
Right.
please share how many CPS cases that has been involved with the person that you're dealing with your case as of right now?
Sure, sure. And thanks for all you do, and thank you for having me back on. I really appreciate it. It's an honor,
Absolutely.
and I've been waiting for a while for someone like you to come on.
Oh,
So I leave my Facebook public for business and for people like you, to see the story. Uh, but
absolutely.
uh,
Sure.
yeah. So I first met her 2007, so 16 years ago. She already had five, 4 to 6 cases with her oldest children with CPS. I
Hmm.
didn't know that until several months into the relationship, but she got pregnant real quick and, fell in love, yada, yada. And then that was
Right.
just, let's work through this together. But I didn't know how serious it was.
Hmm.
Um, and so, and then it just kept going on and on and on. And I didn't have my own place for 6 years. She gave me to move in, kick me out, move me in, kick me out. And then, well, anyways, point is now she literally has probably close to 90 CPS cases. I know that she's had at least 12 to 14 since September of 2022 that have all been called in by our children's therapist, who she's required to take them to because of all her CPS cases as part of their quote services. And the school, police, neighbors, strangers have all called in on her. Um, and I said this last time too, and I have to say it again. I have nothing against mom. I don't have any anger, resentment, bitterness, anything
Right.
like that. So, anything I say, it's may sound mean, but it's not mean. It's just stating facts
Of
of what's
course.
going on, and
Mhm.
I just want her to get better. I don't want
Right.
anything to do with her, besides her being the mother of our child, but our children, but when you see someone hurting like that, you don't want them to hurt like that. You know what I mean?
Of
You
course
you
not.
want to get that healing. So, and then she can be
Because
the
at the end of
image.
the day, that's your children's mother, and
Yeah.
that's also still affiliated with you, with them. So,
hmm And then they can have a good mommy, and But anyways, so now she literally has close to 90 CPS cases. I had to. Our special needs son was coming over to me. He's really not even special needs. Special needs. He just he's normal. It's even on medical records. Back in October 2018, CPS suggested to mom that she put him as an inpatient in the hospital because
Is there any reason why?
he was found on the highway at 1 o'clock in the morning when he was 7.5 years old by a stranger, and he was trying to get
Hmm.
to me on I-30. Yeah,
Oh
and
God.
then yeah, and then he was found in his mom's neighborhood on September 29th or 30th at 6:30 in the morning by another stranger on her way to get donuts for her kids. He was found on I-30 at 4 o'clock in the morning by Fort Worth PD at December 29th or 30th. January 7th, 2019 by Fort Worth PD patrolling mom's neighborhood. Excuse me. And anyway, so that there's also some adding to that here in a minute, which I'll add to that. But no, since he was found on the highway, CPS suggested to mom that she put him as an inpatient in the hospital. Well, so he was in there 2018 October for I think like 12 days. Well, even the doctor there said on medical records the diagnosis for uh, the cause of his diagnosis, the reason of his diagnosis is the environment at his mom's house. And so
Really, that is substantial information, especially from a doctor.
yes, yes. Um, so he's really not. So point is, he's really not that. You know what I mean? He just needs a better environment. He needs a good parent, to give him attention, love him, teach him right from wrong, and help him, just like they all do. Um, Go ahead.
Well, I just was, as you were saying that, I was processing that information because I noticed that a lot of times our kids are so easily labeled. I deal with a child, and I'm like you, I won't even say, I won't consider it special needs. He's been tested. They said they see that he might be on the artistic spectrum, but at the same time, he's also been a child that's been on the gifted and talented. So,
Right.
and there are normally these type of children, like I said, to me, they just process differently, but I never see them as any less. Actually, I see them to be probably even more, in its own kind of way. They're more insightful. The way
Right.
they do things, they strategize, the colors, the sensories, and the way they just, they're able to articulate and catch on certain things that the average person may cannot. So I just noticed that a lot of the stereotypes are easily to be said. Like you say, he, from my observation, it just seemed like he was a child, like the doctor mentioned, that was trying to get out of a seemed to be a maybe a not the best type of environment, a
Right.
toxic, environment. So since they're
Yeah.
kids, we are their mouths, they hands and feet. Some things they can't do. They need us as parents to step up on their behalf. So,
Yep.
it's only so much they can do as a child. So to me,
Yep.
I see him as being intelligent because I don't know about you, but if I'm in an environment that appears or feels or seems to be unsafe, or toxic or unhealthy or whatever the case may be, I'm going to probably try to leave myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I don't
Yeah.
see nothing, as far as him just trying to leave that environment. And you have a doctor that's even stating that it just seemed like the environment he's in may not be the best, place fit for him.
Hmm.
That's substantial information. I didn't want to cut you off, but I just,
Oh.
so many labels are going on a child that seems to be, oh, he's special needs, or
Yeah.
label him a certain kind of way, or he's stereotypes. And a lot of times these children are very bright. They're just being misread or misunderstood.
It's all about that money, money, money. The
And money is definitely a part of it. Absolutely.
yeah, the pharmaceutical companies just want that money, but it's okay. You're right, and we're on the right page. And they just need us.
Yes.
Children need their parents. I'm super big into that. No phone for hours. It's so easy to be able to leave your children on that phone for hours.
Right.
Because they're not. You don't have to do anything with them or anything like that. But no,
Right.
that's your child. You chose to have that child. That child needs and wants you.
Right.
And let's get off the phone. Let's go for a walk. Let's have a talk. You know,
Interact. Yeah.
yeah. Let's read a book together. Let's do something.
Right.
Um, trying to open my water here, but um, yeah, no, and he's super smart. He's so strong. He's so loving, so kind, so
Wow.
thoughtful.
Mm.
You can't stop him from working. Like he'll be out there mowing the yard. He'll be out there doing just whatever. And he's just the sweetest boy, but also strong too. I always have to put that in there. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Um, and
And
go ahead.
well, I just want to say I noticed too, to me, they're very lovable.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
very lovable children, and where most people probably wouldn't have the patience to deal with things, but it's like you said, he's very strong. They go out their way to help. Like I say, it's so many positive, things that you could say about them. In spite of the odds or the differences. But like you say, I'd rather have a person that's heart-filled and sincere. And like you
Yeah.
say, he works hard, so that much shows he cares to try to
Yeah.
get things done. Most people
Mhm.
that's lazy, they don't work hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They don't get that
Well,
involved. So yeah.
I'll tell you what, he'll be 13 in September, and this boy still holds my hand when we get out of the car and we walk through the parking lot and then Walmart.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
He
mean,
loves his daddy, sounds like.
he's starting to kind of not do it anymore, which is like, oh my gosh,
The
come on,
teenager.
boy. Yeah, yeah. But he still does it a little bit, but
Yeah, well, that's to be
he
understood. When I was a
yeah,
teen, you kind of thinking you're getting older now, like you don't have time for that. So that's just,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
that happens.
let me give. Were you gonna say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know if I think I mentioned last time that he was found on the highway. He walked from his mom's house over up at 20 in like Trail Lake area. I'm on the
Mm,
west side of Fort Worth, so he walked here on I-20
wow.
midday on April 29th, just a couple weeks ago. He walked about 8 or 9 miles, and then a lady picked him up and brought him the last 3 or 4 miles. Um, excuse me. And then the deputy from the Tarrant County Sheriff showed up and radioed in and said that he looked deconditioned. Mom had been making him stay awake, forcing him to stay awake over 24 hours at a time. I mean, not feeding him certain meals. Just yeah, really, it's unbelievable. I mean, it is believable, but it's just unreal.
That's the way it sounds. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why he wanted to get the heck away from there, and he had scratches, cuts, bruises all over his body, and and then then the following Friday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, I got a call
Hmm.
at 10 at night from Bimbrook PD, who picked him up on I-20 at 10 o'clock at night in Bimbrook. So he walked another 8 or 9 miles.
My God.
Yeah, yeah. So I jumped in the ride and went and got him real quick. Had him for the weekend. Took him to his mom's on Sunday, where we meet to exchange. And I was sitting there and I had my window cracked. They left, and I was doing something on my phone before I started driving. And next thing I know, I just hear him screaming, "Dad, Dad, Dad!" I mean, he's screaming loud. And I looked in the rearview mirror, and there he is running, and his mom's chasing him. And I just put it in reverse, and I just got him, before she got to him. And she just banged on the hood and said, "He's going to a treatment center." And I shouldn't have said it, but I said, "You're going to a treatment center."
That's what I
You
was going to say. And again, by this being, nearly the end of this month, I know mental health awareness is real. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
it's very real. And with that being said, I want to ask you, since they were thinking more of as a child that was dealing with a mental illness, what about the mom? Have she ever been evaluated by any chance?
Yeah, I
And
know. Go ahead.
well, I wanted to go ahead. You go ahead and answer the question, Charles, because I have a guest who've also had have a question for you as well from your last appearance on the show, and it'll just lead into the next question. But please go ahead.
I know she's going to MHMR for a while, but her thing is she blames everything on everybody else. Okay. And so I don't know if she's had an evaluation. If she has, then I don't know what the outcome of it was,
Hmm.
but an extremely good liar. She's really good at what she does. Okay,
Wow.
yeah, oh yeah, she's great at it. But we do she does need one. And what my thing is once I get the children, she hopefully she'll snap out of it, wake up and say, okay, I need to get help now. You know what I mean? Because if she cares about him that much. Um, but I know that doctors wanted to admit her into the psych ward several years ago, but she refused and she left. And they sent the police to her house to do a welfare check. She said she stayed in the back room while the police knocked on the door and she didn't answer the door. So there's documentation of everything that I say, you know?
Well, that you know what? I'm glad you shared that because that is one of the our viewers. Like I say, from your last guest appearance, she did ask, "Have you ever had a police to go out to do a welfare check at her home?" So you're saying that they have, and what you say she never came to the door, so she wasn't. Um,
Right. So the doctors wanted to admit her into the psych ward, but she refused and she left. So the hospital did the welfare check on her. But
mhm.
absolutely, then maybe 10 welfare checks this last year alone, on the children. But they've been trained not to answer the door if mom's not there.
But
So
she has a previous history because I know normally CPS caseworkers, if they do normally retrieve your information and look at your previous history, and if she has any type of evidence that, from my understanding, like I say, I'm not no attorney. That's Attorney Vince, someone in the legal aspect. But as a mom that have experienced CPS in the past, normally they do, revert back to your previous history. And sometimes they will use it and try to, create something more with a new case or whatever the case may be. So you're saying that this mom have had nearly 90 cases, CPS cases.
uh-huh,
Every case, she has not had to have the children removed.
not one time.
Even with you have, if I'm understanding correctly, doctors documentation that have also have shared their concerns that the children have bruises or some type of marks of abuse, as
Hmm.
well as the child is continuously or numerous times, 2 or 3 times or more, have ran away. And you have different police or sheriffs that have documentation that can validate this information, and no caseworker. Because again, I thought when they have that type of suitable information, and I think it's Child Protective Services, that's what they do. They're there to protect the children.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
they have
mean,
all this information showing that this child might be in some type of danger and harm, but yet no CPS case, I'm sorry, no one is doing anything about this situation.
yep. And recently, I've been telling them y'all are incompetent. You're extremely gullible, and that's just all there is to it. I mean, I don't say it in a rude way. It is rude to say it, but when it's been going on for so long, almost 2 decades, including her oldest children, you guys are incompetent. You are gullible to whatever she's telling you. You know what I mean? Um, and I even emailed. I told you, I texted you the other night. I emailed the old commissioner, Jamie Masters. She was appointed commissioner of DFPS in 2019. I emailed her 2 times year before last. Uh, Added like 25 or 30 photos just to prove what I was saying,
Hmm.
and then I got a response saying, "Oh, we understand your concerns." Blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, lieutenant governors, state reps, senators, the governor's office. I've literally contacted our governor's office over 300 to 400 times just in the last year and a half alone. I've contacted
What do they say? What is something that they've said regarding your concern?
absolutely nothing. They'll call CPS and they'll say, "Hey, Dad's calling," you
Hmm.
know, what's
Hmm.
going on. But that's the extent of it. And then I think CPS doesn't like me because it's like, who are you to call, our governor on us? You know what I mean? Well,
But
do
even
your
with that though, Charles, I'm still, again, like I say, I'm just shocked because you have substantial, from what you're telling me, you have
Mhm.
substantial evidence. A doctors is saying they witness abuse. These are normally some of the most valid, effective reasons why a CPS caseworker, and again, if I'm, even if they won't answer the door, I thought that if, you have doctors and these other police officers and people that normally works with CPS that can validate their reasoning for removing a child. I don't see, even if she didn't open the door, why, um, that someone didn't follow up with her and order her to meet them at a CPS office. I've heard that before. Either, you cooperate with us, or either they will pursue with getting a warrant, or to be able to, remove the child from, get a warrant from the judge or whatever. So my God, I am just shocked, honestly, to know that normally CPS, to me, from what I've experienced, parents that's really are not, might have made a mistake, might have not have made. And hold on, we have a question. Where is this case from? Because it sounds just like the caseworker from my area. We have Amber Hudson. Thank you, Amber, for that question. Charles, Amber is asking, where is this case from? Because it sounds very similar to her area, maybe what she's dealing with or someone she knows that's dealing with the same thing.
Fort Worth, Texas, Tarrant County.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Fort Worth, Texas.
Fort Worth, Texas. Yes. Fort Worth, Texas is definitely, Texas is where I'm born and raised. And Charles also obviously resides here as well. And sadly to know, Charles, do you know, I've read and did some research that Texas is known to have the most CPS cases. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I heard that they were, the court system was one of the most corrupt in the nation, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
did. Yeah, once I got introduced to this thing 4 years ago, our system, I was like, this is our system.
That's what I said. I said the
This-
same thing years ago. I'm like, this has been going on all along, and I didn't know nothing about it. And normally, if you've never been affected by it, you don't know. That's why
Yep,
I love this platform, because we're able to bring people like you and me on here and say, yes, this is happening right
yeah,
here
yeah,
in the United States of America.
and you need to care about it. You need
And
to
you
do
should
something
care,
about it. Yeah,
because
yeah,
just like they did it to us, guess
yeah.
what? It can happen to you.
Just because
Be-
it's not happening to you right now, I mean, you need to do something about it because we're your fellow Texans, we're your fellow Americans. You know, these
Correct.
are these are things that are happening to children who are
And it's,
innocent.
yes,
You know,
talk
good
about it.
good
Yes,
parents are innocent, and forget your favorite TV series. And write an email or make a phone call. Set aside 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, and just reach out to your state reps, your governor, or somebody. Uh,
somebody.
yeah, because
Look,
we have to do this. We the people. But
yes, we
anyways,
do. We have to
that,
come together and speak up. We really do. Because honestly, when I came out of my CPS, it was about nearly a year, but I was in shock to watch all these families just parading in. They're in distraught. You can look in their face and see the pain. You can
yeah,
see, the hurt, the anguish. These kids just seem like they're being tossed to and fro. And like my attorney at the time told me, this is not about you or your child. This is about politics, power, and money. Is
yeah,
way bigger than what you think.
yeah,
Because I knew
yeah,
for the life of me, it didn't make sense. All the different hearings, all the different, everything that it entails. It's almost like the CPS, even though you're doing everything you're supposed to do, but you still almost seem like you're not being treated correctly. It's a system. It's a broken system. It's a corrupt system. These are
yeah,
victims. These are real hearts and souls that's being damaged. And God has given me the eyes to see this from the beginning of the spectrum to the end of the spectrum. I know children that has been lost that was raised in the foster care system because CPS removed them from their homes. And to this day, Charles, they're in their nearly 50s. And when I tell you, they are still broken.
yeah,
They
yeah,
can't even
yeah.
live normal lives from all the hell they went through since CPS took over their lives. And they have
Yeah,
not been the same since.
yeah, I
So
believe it.
anybody, please go ahead.
Yeah, no, I believe it. It has a huge effect. I mean, the mental, you know,
Oh yeah.
physical abuse for sure affects a woman, man, mostly women. But when you get to that psychological point,
Mhm.
it's almost as worse, you know.
Oh yeah,
And
it's a whole nother ball game. And a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
them don't recover. They might
yeah,
just go through life, but they're not the same.
yeah, yeah,
And they're ruining lives. If you just be honest, they are ruining lives. So I had someone that called me and say, my daughter's dealing with CPS case. I don't know what to do. Should I keep the kids? I mean, it was pretty much like she took on the kids, but she didn't know what to expect. And I said, whatever you do, keep those kids as long as you can, because you do not want your grandbabies to be raised in that CPS foster care broken, corrupt system.
that's right, that's right. We don't even have to we don't have to answer the door to CPS. We don't
Right.
have to their phone calls. I'm not saying being rebellious, but
Of course
that's our
not.
right. Those are our rights as
Those are your
Americans.
rights. There you go.
You know what I
That's
mean?
exactly correct. Yes,
And
those are our rights.
yeah, and
And even
something.
I believe Attorney Vince would tell you, and I just tell people seek legal counsel,
Yeah,
seek wise legal counsel, and not just any attorney, but a attorney that knows the laws to CPS and that's aggressive, that's willing to fight for you and your children. That is because I know that's what helped me to overcome CPS. It
right.
wasn't until I had that type of attorney on my team. She literally redirected. I mean, almost in the midst, in front of my eyes, I began seeing CPS walk backwards. I began to see them drop their hands, drop their heads. She came with the laws. Like you
Yeah,
say, it's
yeah,
our amendments, our rights to not answer the door. And a lot of people don't know that, oh, I just let them in. I just talk this out. But you know what? They're not there for you. They're there for them.
yeah.
And they will use whatever you say to try to hold that against you.
Mm-hmm.
They are
Yeah,
not who you think they are. And
yeah.
with that being said, you brought up an interesting point with that, Charles. So I want to ask you, what is it that you are looking? What type of help are you looking to receive, or what are you needing help with getting your children back? Do you have legal counsel right now?
Yeah, no, I already hired three. I hired three attorneys 4 years ago when I first started working on getting custody.
Hmm.
My plan is right now is just to file by myself because I don't have the money for the attorney right now. Because that's another thing too. I want to change. I know these attorneys have worked their butts off. Okay, and they're worth all their whatever they charge.
Hmm.
But you got attorneys that are charging 10, 15, 20, 30, $50,000, $100,000 for the retainer only. Okay, and we're talking about our most important court
Investment.
system, our family.
Right.
You're gonna sit here and you're gonna capitalize and get rich off of our children and off of
Hmm.
our hurts and our pains. No, I want to make a law to where they can only charge 7,500 max. Unless the case is going, far, more in depth. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. You know what I mean?
No,
Because
mhm.
it
No, I
should be
get.
yeah,
Go ahead. I'm
and
sorry.
no, it's okay. Thanks. It should be affordable.
Hmm.
A criminal can go out and kill somebody, steal something, and then they get free representation. But when it comes,
Great, valid point.
yeah,
That's a great nugget you just dropped there, Charles.
yeah, thanks. Children who are getting abused, and you've got
Sadly
healing
but true.
parents. I have no felonies. I have zero CPS cases. I have a 26-year-old. I have zero CPS cases. I have no family/domestic violence. Nothing against me. You know what I mean? And
Wow.
it's like I've called almost every organization, and it's like no, 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 and it's like, oh. So, anyways, so to answer your question, no legal representation at the moment. I need it. I want it. I'm gonna file tomorrow by myself because I have to because I still have my boy, and
Hmm.
I just have to do it fast. Um, but I would love legal representation. I would love it.
Okay, and we have another viewer, Colette Lopez. She's asking, have you ever went to court to try to fight for the custody of your son?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago. And then we went and our judge was new. We have an amazing judge.
Mhm.
Um, he has a reputation of being a little stern. He's 20 plus year military vet, and he's a judge, Um, but he was new at the time. He was 7 months new. Three of mom's own CPS caseworkers who her attorney subpoenaed. That should say something in itself. You've got three of her own CPS caseworkers here, lied in court, said that I never cooperated with them, said that I never said that our children were scared of me, and I need a drink. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Oh, you're fine. And while you're doing that, the Gonzalez family says she's been fighting for 5 years as well. So
Uh,
thank you for sharing your comment. So it just goes to show that so many people are going through this same corrupt, um, sad, broken system.
Yeah, hey, y'all remember too, Gonzalez and everybody else, this is your system. I don't advocate violence and anything like that, but this is your system. There's an estimated 88% of Americans don't even know their own constitution. Uh,
Mm,
in
wow.
Texas, the TRCP is the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure. You can download it on your phone. You can find out a lot. A lot of parents are just going. They're just studying on their own, and they're taking
Mhm.
over. Even
Yeah.
when the other party has an attorney, they got tired of it. I know one guy in Pennsylvania. He after his ninth attorney, he just to get 50-50 with his daughter. He just went beast mode and he went to town. And I mean, I'm
Wow.
not playing. He probably has at least a ton or right under a ton of paperwork that he filed from
Uh-huh.
his phone.
From
Just
his
just over the
phone?
years. Yes, just yeah, because you got a e-file here in Texas. You can
Oh,
file.
yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Right.
Yeah, I'll send you a screenshot later
Okay.
on. Yeah, yeah, and what I
Wow.
send you is only going to be half of what he filed, but he finally got it last year, the year before, and it's just ridiculous. But I want y'all to know, y'all do not give up, and remember, this is your
Right.
system. And I'm not being rude. These judges, we have to hold them to with the utmost respect and honor because they are in authority, but they are our employees, okay? And
Mm,
they
great
have to
observation.
abide by the law, okay? So you just find out what your laws are and just get with it, fight the fight
That
and
is
don't
so good.
give up.
Very good, Charles. Because of your dialogue and what you're sharing, we have another viewer, Melina Powers, just written in. Sorry, just shared a comment, a question saying, "Does anyone know the laws on the state allowing your kids who are in foster care to be called different names than their biological names?" Wow, can they do that?
Yeah,
Can
no.
you change a name without a legal interchange?
Right, like a yeah, some sort of legal document or something.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the point everybody would be doing. And that's definitely sounds like to me a question for attorney Vince or, someone that's dealing in the legal system, because I don't know that answer. But I have heard, unfortunately, a lot of children, once they're in this foster system, and that's why, again, I will fight, 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 and urge any family, friend, close relative, whoever, if you can take in a child so that child doesn't have to go into foster care, by the grace and mercy of God, please do so. Because I
Yeah.
had my last guest that shared that her son went into the foster care as a young child and like a toddler, about 3 years old. And for some odd reason, intentionally, even though the little child was a boy, they dressed the child up as a girl and even painted his fingernails.
Well,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So, I
that's
mean,
yeah, that's uncalled for. We need to
exactly. So,
we
right.
we got to fight for our children. These children need us so bad, and
Oh
we
my
need
God.
it's a fight against evil, and we've got to
It
come against
is.
this thing. We have to, and we cannot stop. So
We
like
can't
I
give up. We can't. I
that's
had
right.
five attorneys when I had my case, Charles. Five.
Really,
Yeah,
but there's
absolutely.
there's no need for that. There's no need for that. You know what I mean? One attorney, get the facts, get your evidence, know the law, lay it down, go in there, let's do this.
And
Have a
let's
good day.
do it. But everybody
It,
don't have that's not this it's sad to say, but everybody, like you said, a lot of things is dealing with money.
yeah,
And a lot of
yeah,
attorneys don't know CPS laws. And I didn't discover that until we was in court.
yeah. And my thing is I'm not really fighting against CPS in court. It's
Hmm.
just
Right.
it's just she has a lot of CPS cases, but I have called and contacted the governor, state reps, and all that just to let them be aware that someone in your city and in your state has this many CPS cases and nothing is being done about it. You know what I
I'm
mean?
so glad you're speaking up. I really am.
Yeah. So thanks. And so I just, I mean, hopefully our judge didn't hear this or anybody else, but he told me
But don't
back.
say anything that you feel that can be used against you. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna put that out there. So
Yeah, yeah. So he just basically told me get an attorney, come back, get an attorney
okay.
and come back. Yeah, get an attorney and come back.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
because he knew I didn't have any idea what to do. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I
Right.
didn't know how to submit evidence. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right. I do.
he wants everything done, boom, 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 and let it be over with.
And see, that's why that's a great point you said that, because initially when I had my CPS encounter, I tried to represent myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God, you got to know these laws. You have to know what is it like some of the
Well,
cases that have been won before and like what jurors. I mean, it's so much it entails.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I just realized, I'm swimming in a huge ocean
Mm-hmm.
that I'm about to drown in. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I've also had someone that said they had a pro bono attorney, and it took a while, unfortunately, but that there was a good attorney that was able to return her child back home. So, I just want to say this too, Charles. Like even someone like yourself, a dad that's on here that's fighting for the well being his own child or children. Is it just one child that you're going through this with? Is it just your son, or is it more than one child?
So we have three together.
Three
So
children. Okay. So
yeah.
it is three.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is this, the moral of what I'm saying is that a lot of people normally just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Even parents, sadly.
Yeah.
Hey, I tried to be there for my child, my children, and you're still, not you're making it hard for me, or you still doing things that's causing so much confusion and chaos. I'm just going to walk away, you know.
Yeah.
And to me, it takes the bigger person to say, in spite of everything that's going on, I know it got to be stressful.
Yeah.
I remember those sleepless nights. I
Oh
remember,
yeah.
just the pain that, it's like life is not supposed to be like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, it's life has so much more to offer than just continuously going back and forth and all these fightings, all this abuse, all this turmoil. My God, like, it's better than this, and we're continuously going through the same thing over and over again. So to me, it says a lot about your character that you're willing to fight, fight, fight for your child to get them in a safe place, but in your custody or wherever you feel that their children needs to be removed until this person gets help. Like you even said yourself, you're not here against her. You're
No,
not.
not at all.
You just want her to get the help that she needs to be better, not only
Yeah.
for herself, but most importantly, for your children.
Yeah. Yeah. I even
It has to start somewhere.
yeah, I even have probably a dozen or more messages that I've sent her the last couple of years, and I tell her, hey, just because we're not together anymore doesn't mean that we're enemies.
Right.
We can do this. We have to do this. We have to show our children what it's like. I mean, you know what I mean?
Oh
This
yeah.
is this is so easy. I'll tell her like, "Hey, your tail lights out. Do you need help? Your headlights out. Do you need help?" So I offered to help with the car. Her phone bill was disconnected a couple weeks ago. I asked her, do you need help with your phone? And but it's just our system.
Mm-hmm.
Is somebody trying to come in? Oh
Okay,
yeah.
say it again. I'm
Our,
sorry.
no, I thought somebody was trying to come in, but
Oh.
our let me say, hold on, let me say it again. Our system has enabled, empowered her to get away with it for so long. That's just what
Mm,
she's doing. She can get away with whatever she wants, you
that's what it
know.
sounds like.
Yeah, but no,
Sadly, but it does.
yeah, yeah, she can be the best mom, best mother, best wife, best everything,
Hmm.
Uh, but she just needs to get that help. So yeah, I just want my
Yeah.
babies. I want my babies. I love my babies. I literally raised them from the moment they came out the womb. Literally.
Oh, wow. No wonder why you're so attached.
I
That's a
put them to
bond like no
school.
other.
Oh my gosh, yes, those are my babies. So
Yeah, and children are, that's your legacy.
yeah, that's right.
That's your,
That's
this is, that's
right.
what I'm saying. This is like that, not just some balloons or some shoes. These are our children who we birthed into the world. This is who's going to represent us when we're gone on. So our
Mhm.
future, is so much. My God, I mean, again,
Yeah,
that's why I don't even understand how this CPS system. I don't say it's legal to take away kids. And don't get me wrong. Let me just share this disclaimer because I do know that there are sadly unfit parents that
yeah,
are abusive, like terribly abusive. They're
yeah,
mistreating their children, they're torturing their children. And I do believe that's when CPS definitely need to be a parent and removing those children out of those toxic, abusive, hostile environments. But I've also witnessed a lot of parents just may be in a place where they may need some help. They may need somebody like a CPS service or resource to help. I know one case where parents had their child removed because they couldn't pay their light bill.
right.
Why not just provide the money or the resource or the assistance to pay the
Yeah,
light bill and leave the
right.
child there and help the parents maybe with some budgeting classes,
I'm sure.
things of that nature.
Yeah, I'm sure CPS has plenty of money to do that. Yeah,
Oh my God, yes, the government. Even when your children are in the system, if their children are on Social Security or whatever case they may be getting, they'll withhold all that money. They have
yeah,
lots of money. That's
yeah,
the problem. I think a lot of it is based off them wanting to keep all the money because they even
yeah,
make profits off of the children. Sadly, that's sold in adoption with CPS. It's a
yeah.
money game.
I heard. Yeah, I heard. I don't know how true it is, but I don't doubt it. But I heard that they actually make money from however many children they can get removed and put into foster care or whatever. But
I've
that's a
heard the
whole
same
nother
thing.
story. Yeah, yeah.
It
But
has to be something bigger than what meets the eye. Because why would they be so adamant about keeping the kids? And because a lot of time the parents are doing the services, they're you know
yeah,
they're they're doing what they've asked them to do, and the children sadly sometimes are still removed. I have a guest that's coming on the show Friday where she literally, from my understanding, and she'll be here Friday. Actually, she knows someone that this happened to, and she's going to share her story as well. But she literally did all the services, she did everything that she was asked by her caseworker, and they still adopted her child out. And they're literally, from my understanding, she's taking it, she's pursuing a lawsuit.
yeah.
So,
There's just a righteous indignation and anger that builds up inside of me about stuff like this, and we need to do something about it. These people,
absolutely.
these people cannot do this. We have to do something about it. I'm glad she's doing that too, and I've wondered how I can sue the state of Texas or
Mhm.
and CPS for allowing this to go on for so long.
For
You
so
know,
long. But they've been
you
getting
know,
away with it for so long. You
yeah,
know, it's sad, but I guess they feel like they have the right to it. Nobody was saying anything, you
yeah.
know.
I
But
had,
I do believe a lot of us, more and more and more, these stories are being revealed and shared. People like, wait a minute, like the lady just wrote in, just sent in a comment earlier. She said she's going through the same thing. This is like
yeah,
an epidemic, and this is all over. Even Attorney Vince, I believe he has cases in Alaska. So this
yeah,
is not just, live and local. This is all over.
Yeah.
that this
Oh
is
yeah.
happening to these children,
Oh yeah. All over America.
sadly.
Yep. Yep.
And another thing I want to share, Charles, is that I noticed that again, from time to time, when you hear the stories on the news, and you will, I'm just going to say the Gonzalez Family Show. You sure can just submit your information if you'd like to be a guest on the show, and we will definitely be in touch for sure. Thank you for your comment. But what I want to also say, Charles, watching the news, and I always watch the news to hear, what's going on. And even people will call and reach out to me to let me know to check something out. You hear these children where they are literally been in these environments that's been abusive, obviously toxic, and everything else negative you can think of. And CPS is like they haven't appeared in it, they haven't been at that location. I don't know when.
Yeah.
The children are still there, kind of like what you're saying,
Oh yeah.
sadly, that obviously there's something wrong here, but no one is removing the children. And by the
Yeah.
time they come to remove the children, sadly, guess what? The
Yeah.
situation has really gotten worse.
Yeah.
So I want to understand why our CPS seem to be more in families' lives that are good parents, might have made bad mistakes, but they obviously love and care about their children, and they're easily uprooted. But you have parents that's consistently being abusive to their children, have evidence to show that they're abusive, and guess what? The kids are still in their custody.
Yeah. Yeah. And each caseworker I've sent at least a dozen or more photos, of the bruising and the house, the living conditions of the houses, just to show them, hey, this is what's going on. This is what
Wow.
they go through. And still, oh, thank you. Okay, whatever. Nothing. Um, Come on, Charles. What are we gonna say, Lord? Um, you know, the oh man, what was I gonna say? Um, I don't know. You have anything to say while I'm trying to remember what I was gonna say? Oh yeah, yeah,
But-
yeah. So and I told you this before. So
Mhm.
the 3 or 4 excuses that they use to me are, well, we can't go by mom's past CPS cases. We can only go by her current one. Okay. No,
That's the first.
that's a bunch of baloney. Okay.
In other words, yes.
Yeah, and I told you this last time. I'm going to call them. I'm going to ask them, is there anywhere on paper that I can see and read that? You know what I mean? And then
That
number
I
two,
like that you said that because I want to see it too.
yeah,
Please.
yeah, for real. I'm gonna do it today or tomorrow and see how much work I can get done. Um, Number two, mom is cooperating with us and doing our quote services. Okay, well, she has close to 90 cases now, and you guys have made her do the same services, and things have only gotten worse, not better. I mean, okay. Number three, we can't go against a judge's order. No, you can't, but you can easily go down to the court and make a recommendation. You
What
know,
about modifications once I understand you can't, I respect you can't change the judge's order, but when something changes severely, as if now we have evidence that these children are being abused,
mhm.
doctors are writing reports or notes, or you say you've even had a sheriff to share their concerns as well. So normally I thought once the case has changed and some new information has been submitted, can't they do a modification at that point in time?
Well, I mean, the who?
Well, I'm saying if you're saying that since your last judge
Uh,
order,
right?
you've had
Yeah, yeah.
some other things that have transpired.
I can now. Yes, I yes. They say that you can only, and I need to find out, and I'm sure there's a way around it, but just because everything is relevant to what's continuing to happen now, but they
Hmm.
say you cannot bring up anything that's happened since the date of the last order. But I think there's some way to get around that if it's been going on for 10, 15 years. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
Your Honor, this is relevant because this is continuing to go on. But
right,
I have more than enough to go on from 4 years ago to now to not even need anything, prior to 4 years ago. Um, but yeah, no, no, definitely now I can absolutely, yeah, and that's why I'm filing tomorrow. So yeah, yeah, that's why I'm
okay.
gonna do
Um,
it.
And so to be clear, Charles, you're saying that you're not going against CPS regarding you going to court. Is this more for you just trying to seek custody of your children?
Yes, just for their safety, their well-being, their love, their attention. I mean, just imagine children just home alone and no help with spelling words, no help with schoolwork, no dinner, just being dropped off and not given the attention, the love, and time that they need and want. You know what I mean?
Of course, it's
And,
needed, especially in the world we're living in now. The children have, like you say, a cell phone is not, or games are not supposed to raise your children. I
yeah,
mean, they'll stay on, my son will stay on a Nintendo 64 and Clash of Clans and Roblox and all day long.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Literally all day long, unless I make him go outside and play basketball or,
Right.
do something like, because when I grew up, we loved to go outside, but now they have all these devices and gadgets and electronics. He's like, go outside for what? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a
Right, right.
totally different world. They got so much at their fingertips. And it's us as parents to step up and say, hey, no, cut that
That's,
device off and let's
that's
do something that's,
right.
I don't know what, productive.
Yeah, yeah.
Something, yeah, because even being in front of those gadgets all day with electronics, that's not even good for your eyes.
I had a phone call. What's the last thing you said?
Oh no, I was just saying, I'm like you, it just, we got to give them that balance. It's okay to play sometimes, but not
Yeah,
like you say, it shouldn't be their babysitter.
oh yeah, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And I
Right,
told them maybe an hour or two a day you can have that media time. You know
right.
what I
Yeah,
um
I do that
but
too. So yeah, it's nothing wrong with it. Just not let it be obsessive. I definitely, I'm with you on that. I also want to say too, Charles, we're getting ready to wrap up the segment pretty soon. This has definitely been great information you have shared. We've had a lot of people, a few of our guests, listening audience have made some very valid comments as well. I just want to let you know, with everything you shared, is there anything that you would like to say as your final closing remarks, regarding what you're dealing with, or if you just, whatever's laid on your heart that you feel the reason to say, to express, please go on.
right. Excuse me. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
No
Um,
problem.
the only thing I can say is just to all the parents, just don't ever give up. I don't know how to quit. Give up and quit, back down. It's not in me. And our
Right.
children
I
know
love
how much
that.
they need us. And just always remember this is your system. This is your government. The
Right.
government does not run us. And again, I'm not talking about, I always have to say in my posts and my comments, everything is to be done legally and
Hmm.
non-violent. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Of course.
Uh, learn how to file, learn what to file. If you can't get an attorney, then learn on your own.
Correct.
Don't
Do you
don't
have anyone that's helping you with your filing or anything, or do you already know how to do that yourself?
So I had there's some groups on Facebook that like the parents who have got to the point to where they're doing it on their own, and I had a
Hmm.
friend forward me her husband's filings, and so I
Hmm.
just had to edit, delete his info and put my info.
Okay, got you. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, but that's
Like a
about it.
template or something, or
Yeah.
hmm. Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
and I have a supporting affidavit, and I heard that judges only like about 3 or 4 pages, and mine's
Hmm.
13 pages right now. So I've got to try to condense it. But I mean, there's a lot to say,
Of
and then
course it is.
I got two more Tarrant County Sheriff reports a few days ago. I got 2 or 3 Fort Worth Police Department reports last week. So I have at least 6 or 7 police reports, plus all the pictures, plus the children have been absent so much this year, and there's been talk about like summer school and stuff like that. Um,
Wow.
but I'm just gonna hit this thing as hard as I can, and just do it, and just get it over with. But
Right.
don't ever, 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 ever give up, and no matter how hard
Correct.
it will get better. It will
It
get
will
better.
get better.
Yeah.
I
That's
am a
right.
living testimony.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
will get better. I've
yeah,
always said that, God can still turn that pain into power and most importantly into purpose.
yeah. And that's what I tell our boy. I said, I know this stuff isn't right. I know it hurts. I
Right.
know been through a lot, but you're gonna be able to help a lot of people.
Oh my
And
God. Because
yeah,
it's going to be
and
personal. And normally anything that affects you personally, you have a different kind of heart for it and you care even more. You're more passionate.
mhm, yeah.
Hmm. Absolutely. So I also want to ask you, Charles, is there a way that say we got any of our listening audience that maybe want to, get in contact with you for whatever reason? Is there like a email address or something like that where they might be able to reach out to you?
Yeah,
Or
that's
your
a great.
website you said on Facebook that some, a way they can contact you.
Yes, thank you very much. I was about to give my phone number out, but I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I wouldn't mind,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it's at your discretion, but your email should be fine.
okay, so
That's
I'm
fine.
gonna say it and spell it. My email is
I like
stirupyourgifts@gmail.com.
that.
So it's STIRUPYOURGIFTS@gmail.com. Stir
Okay,
up
say it one more time for me.
stirupyourgifts@gmail.com. STIRUPYOURGIFTS@gmail.com. And then
Okay.
you can reach me on Facebook. My Facebook is public, Charles Lighter, Lyder. Um, and just message me on there, contact me. Let's get this thing going. I want to do some grassroots type things. I want to do some marches. I want to do some silent protesting.
Hmm.
At some point, we'll organize it.
Absolutely. Sometimes it
Just
takes that. Yes.
something.
Yeah, to get it to moving in the right direction. Let's turn this around to get people more on board, come together for a greater cause, which is our children's lives. So
Hmm.
I'm in agreement with that, and that's another reason why when I seen your Facebook page, I knew you was a true advocate for your children. That you like to, do what's right and bring out the best in them by putting in the right environment. So I am praying for you, Charles. I know you did share that tomorrow is the date, I believe, for the hearing. Um, I,
Just to file.
it's the date to file.
Yeah, just to file, and then after I file, I'll have 2 weeks to prepare for the hearing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, again, I definitely wish the best to you. I know God is able. I know He can turn anything around. So
That's right.
I would definitely be. I would like for us to, stay in contact with each other as far as you with the show, and if anything changes, definitely we possibly even in the future might be bringing you back on. And I'm hoping and praying that when we bring you back on, you'll be giving us some positive news about what's been going on
Yeah,
with your hearing with getting your children back.
absolutely. And I just want you to know I appreciate all you're doing. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for contacting me. I know that what you're doing can be challenging so at times,
Hmm.
but God has obviously gifted you for it. So good job, and
He
thank you very much.
has. Well, I
Okay,
always believe where there's a will, there's a way.
that's right. That's
And
right.
with God, all things are possible.
That's
So,
right.
absolutely. So,
Right.
again, Charles, thank you for coming on today. And like I say, we'll be in touch and continue to keep God first.
All right. I will. I will for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. You're so welcome. Okay, everyone, that will wrap up our show today. Oh my God, what a story. It just goes to show you again that there are a lot of people out here that's dealing with not only CPS cases, they're dealing with custody battles that's affiliated with CPS cases. And that's why this platform to me is so important. It gives us a chance to share our truth and let our voices be made heard so we can bring the justice that's needed for us, for ourselves, as well as our children. So, again, I must say that I give thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without Without him, I'm absolutely nothing, but with him, I am everything. So, but without anything else being said, I want to say again, thank you so much for tuning in to the Beautifully Bruised and CPS show. I am your host, Latrika Jones, and continue to keep God first and just keep going, because keep fighting and watch and see God will make a way for you just like he did for me. Have a great day.